All right.
Okay.
There we go. You can't hear this, but I'm playing intro music. Look at that. That's not quite what the beat's like.
I don't care.
Okay.
I can't hear it.
You got the tune in your own head. Right. This might have been a mistake. How you doing, Alex?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing right.
How did the intro music go? Just so
You'll find out when you watch this.
Oh, okay.
When you watch it back, you know.
The suspense.
Yeah.
What's
right.
up?
Well. We actually just finished shooting a scene, and you ended up getting booked here
scene
for another scene tomorrow here in LA, because you're not from LA.
I'm not.
You're a Vegas girl.
I am.
You trying to look bigger than me?
I am. I'm sitting on my feet. It actually helps my knees. I have shitty knees.
That's probably because you spend a lot of time on them.
No, it's genetic. I have floating patella in both knees.
Yes, Jeffrey Lee, it really is Alex
Hi.
Cole. Yeah, so we just got done shooting a scene, and you got booked for tomorrow here in LA again.
Yes.
So you're going to stay the night. And I was like, oh, look, you should definitely come on my podcast at some point. And you're like, well, I'm a late, you're like a night owl.
I'm like an all day, all night person.
There you go. So I said, stuff it. Last minute, get you in. Why the hell not?
Yeah, we were thinking about doing it tomorrow, but we weren't sure.
Yeah, because I know, you're working. You're gonna be pretty late.
I'm shooting for Missa X.
Yeah, and they typically, it is with Ricky, right? Ricky?
Yes.
Yeah. He's a perfectionist. And Maddie, the camera guy, Maddie's fantastic, fantastic camera guy, but they're both perfectionists.
Yeah.
So I know, like I've shot with them a lot since the quarantine has kind of finished, at least for us. So yeah, you'll end up doing like every shot will be like 6 takes, and it comes out looking fantastic. Though,
I'm super about it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Get about it. Everyone watching right now, if you we'll go through some questions. I've got some questions for Alex. We'll go through those. But if you have any questions for Alex, drop them in the chat, and we'll get to them.
Yes.
As we progress. So, Alex, why don't you give for everyone who might not be familiar with your work and your career and your story, your background.
Most people.
Right.
Yeah.
Why don't you give like that typical porn question that porn stars get is like, how did you get into the industry? How long you been? That kind of stuff. Why don't you give us a brief background about yourself?
Let's do that. Okay. So I'm Alex Cole. That's me. And then so I started webcamming. So I was doing webcam February 1st, 2015 is when I started that. And then I started shooting mainstream porn like the stuff we did today on in January of 2019. So those are the start dates. And then
so you're only like a year and a half in.
Yeah, unless if you don't count COVID. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah. So like a year and a couple months.
Jesus. Yeah. That's pretty quick. I didn't because when I went scrolling through your Instagram really briefly, I was like, you haven't been around that long.
I know. No, the Instagram is because I keep getting deleted. So
yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, I think I'm on like my 5th account. I'm keeping it private right now.
5 accounts.
We did just finish. Yes, 5. I think we did just finish shooting a scene for Nubiles, so that was exciting.
Yes, because we did indeed.
And then so I've been making my own content. I've made over 200 of my own videos, and I've shot over 200 videos for mainstream porn now.
In the year and a half, you've done 200 scenes.
In less than a year and a half, yeah.
That is quick.
Yeah, I did 130 my first year, and then I packed in a bunch at the beginning of the year before COVID, and then...
Yeah, so your first year, you said 100, but 130?
I think more like 150 for the first year.
For the first 12, from the January to
January to December, yeah. Like 150, and then I've added
it's like
in
a
the
scene.
rest.
It's roughly a scene every 2 to 3 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of 7 in a row days.
Yeah.
Like shoot for 7 days in a row and then take a day off and then back in.
Oh,
so like I think I only had 4 days off in March of 2019.
Holy moly.
Total.
And you probably travel a fair bit in that as well, right?
Yeah. So that's going to Florida, and then my agent Riley with Hussy Models is like really, really well connected in Florida. So I don't give a fuck. Good. so I usually, if I go to Florida, I'll shoot 7 days in a row if I want to. But he doesn't like that. He wants me to take a day off every now and then. He wants a day off every 3 days, but I said no.
So you're the one that's pushing yourself more than anything else.
It's like all of it now.
Yeah, right. Damn.
Yeah.
That's a busy.
I'm a busy lady. Yeah.
Yeah, you seem like you work now, especially now we're back to work.
Now that we're back, yeah, and especially with all I think since we've come back, there've been a lot more cancellations because of the testing protocols and stuff like that. So, and then people are making their own content and stuff now, and I think people understand like the amount of money that their own content can make them.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of knew that already.
I did.
So let's talk about that. So coming from being a webcam model. And Chris asked an interesting question on the same topic.
Move from webcam to mainstream porn?
Yeah, what prompted the transition in the first place? Let's start with that.
Okay. Well, I didn't move from one to another. I just added in mainstream.
So you still webcam?
I do, at less because there were so many shoots, but I'm working on my schedule now so that I'll be able to webcam more often because I want to be a little pickier about shoots and then spend more of my time at home with webcam because that's where my happy place is.
And your cats.
And my cats, yes. But mostly it's like the interaction I get with guys when I'm webcamming is so amazing. I love it. I know people from my very first stream that still watch me now and who like I know them, I know their family. I was gonna go to one of their graduations from college, but it ended up not working out.
Wow.
And like
one of your live stream viewers.
Yeah.
You were gonna go to their go to the graduation.
Sorry, Jarek.
Wow.
But like I know a lot of them like very personally and they're my real friends and stuff. So it's like I like being online on live cam. It's really very rewarding.
Damn.
So,
because I've got some friends back in Australia. I mean, obviously I've got friends here who do webcamming as well. But one of my first friends in the industry back when I started was a webcam girl, and she was telling me like it's not what people think it is. It's not really about. No. It's not so much about like showing your tits and playing with dildos and stuff. It's more about like cultivating a relationship, if you will, with the people watching your stream and getting to know, like you said, like getting to know their birth dates, getting to know what they do for job, like how is work.
Totally.
Like,
I like being that person that when you come home from work, we hang out, you know? So it's like, it's time for you to decompress. Like maybe you're having some trouble in your personal life, like we all are. I like my cam room to be like a soft, squishy place to land where people can just come in and like hang out. And then if sexual shit happens. But I actually have a shit ton of viewers who will leave if I start masturbating or anything.
What?
Yeah. So, which is, I love the people who do masturbate to me, and I love the people who don't. So one isn't better than the other because people try to assign value to that. But I love the people that watch me just for the friendship as much as I love people that watch me to get off with me. I think both are extremely valid and very like wonderful. So thanks to both types of people. But there's people that whenever I start doing a cum show, they'll be like, I'll be back in an hour, have fun.
It's like, I'll let you get off and I'll come back and chat with you later.
And then they'll come back in an hour and they're like, are you still fucking going? And it's like, yeah, sorry, I'll be done soon.
See, that actually does surprise me that they would like, not that people want to chat with you, but that they would leave if you started masturbating. That actually does surprise me.
There's some people like, here's one of my friends, I'm sure doesn't mind being used as an example, but his daughter's about my age. And so I think he looks at me sexually sometimes, but not very often. And it's, he kind of, one time he told me, and it still means a lot to me, I hope you're watching. He told me that like watching me succeed and do well in life and be like articulate and educated and hit my goals and stuff made him have more hope for like his daughter doing well and stuff like that. And I've listened to her like play guitar and watch them like play with the dog and stuff. So like she's really nice too. And it's just kind of like your dad watches me. We hang out and talk, and I'm just an online person who's your dad's friend. Like it's just kind of like I like that a lot because I've been lonely and stuff, and I know what it feels like to be lonely. And if I can make one person not feel lonely, then that's great. And that's because they definitely make me feel not lonely.
I think that's kind of where a lot of the user base comes from. Is there's a lot of men out in the world right now, especially because we're so we're more connected and disconnected at the same time, right? Because we're all connected through social media and stuff, but that sort of has put an excuse in the way for people to actually hang out in person a lot. And so, especially with young men, you don't really, or even older men, there's a lot less physical face-to-face interaction with people. And I think a lot of men these days feel a lot lonelier than they would have, like 30, 40, 50 years ago. Yeah,
and there's a lot of people that are just very busy. Like, I'm busy. I don't have a whole lot of time for personal life stuff, even though I want to hang out with my friends that I know in every day. But I always have time to get on cam. So it's like I have my friends online that I spend more time with than my regular friends because I don't have to go somewhere. I can go home and be like, hey, I'm chilling. Let's hang out.
You really love that job.
I really do.
You really love it.
I love it so much.
Wow.
Like more than anything else I've ever done.
So then if you're enjoying it so much, what made you want to add mainstream porn into the mix as well?
So, before I forget, I was going to say the other group of people that watch are people that are extremely busy, like business people and stuff, and they don't have time for that personal connection. So they get the personal connection from people like me. So there's that. I've noticed a lot of people do that. But the reason I added in mainstream porn is because it's always been like something I wanted to do. And I'd been telling people on cam forever, like I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I wish I could do that. And they were like, you can fucking do that. And I was like, no, I can't. And they encouraged me, and then my partner encouraged me, and between the two of them, like, that's what finally got me to try. And I was 27 when I started mainstream, which is old.
Well, I mean, like, it's interesting because you don't look like a MILF.
I know.
But do you get cast as a MILF?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's good because you look like.
I've only been asked twice.
Yeah,
total.
And that's probably because of like they read your stats.
Yeah.
Right. They'll probably read your stats on the website. Be like, oh, 27, we can cast her as a MILF, but you do not look like a MILF.
A lot of people
have the teeny look.
Yeah. A lot of people think my photos are photoshopped too, so I send a video. I'm like, no, this is what I look like, or I'll do a go see. But when I first started, it took a while to get my first shoots because I got my agency connection in November or December. I didn't get my first shoots until January.
Yep.
So it was like, there were a lot of companies that were like, she's too old. Like, what are you talking about? And so then I would go, and actually one of my first scenes, he just didn't tell them my age. And so they were like, oh yeah, so you're playing this college student, and how old are you? We need your IDs. And I gave them my IDs, and they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
they were like, why the fuck?
Damn.
What is happening?
Yeah,
you're 27?
You snuck in under the radar.
And I was like, is that a problem? They're like, well, you're here now, so no.
Well, it doesn't. I don't get that. That's something I actually don't understand is why a company would turn a girl away if she looked like she was 20. Despite the fact that she was like older than that.
I think there's also like how you carry yourself and stuff. And I know for a fact that I don't react to things the way.
You talk more maturely than.
Sure. But even if I'm pretending, like even if I'm acting like a silly teenager, I don't react the same way as someone who's doing something for the first time. Yeah, right. So like, even if I try, there's no way to put that special thing in there. I get it, but it does suck. But now that people have like given me shots, and part of that is like doing stuff like I did today. Like today wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to be here because it was a last minute thing. They just asked me yesterday. So they asked me yesterday, and I was like, "You got it, boss." And so I like went and got tested, I jumped in the car and I came up here, and just being reliable has helped me to get past the age thing. I'm
gonna jump in here. Blood. Stop listening to Elon Musk to listen to us two. You bloody legend. And
I stopped listening to an Elon Musk interview for this. Thank you, Bloodbot.
I mean, look, what's Elon Musk gonna talk about that's interesting? I mean, going to Mars, new Tesla batteries, like revolutionizing like technology for mankind.
You should definitely watch the Internet Thought instead.
Much more entertaining. And he jumps in here. Sterling's advice is super solid. Helped me a lot. Thank you very much, sir. And I assume you're one of the many gentlemen who's bought my book, and if you are, thank you so much for the support. And look, reach out if you have any questions in the meantime as well.
Yeah.
You damn right you made the right choice. So you made that transition. How do you feel like now that you've been shooting mainstream stuff for like a year and a half? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it? I
enjoy not having to worry about cameras and lights a little bit.
Is in
that's nice.
the shot you're getting yourself.
Yeah, because when I'm filming my own stuff, I get a little stressed. So I like to hire people. So when I'm shooting for other companies, it's like being paid to promote myself. And then it's also introducing me to all these really awesome people like you. I wouldn't have met you if I had just been doing cam, probably. Yeah. I mean, I've met some porn people through doing cam because Twitter connections and stuff. But I've been meeting a lot more people since I started doing this. And then I make less money. I'll just say that now.
From porn compared to webcam.
Yes.
Like for the time investment, right?
Yeah, I think I've taken like a
pay cut.
A good pay cut, yeah. But I enjoy the traveling. I enjoy the experiences. I enjoy like getting dolled up and doing the makeup stuff. I enjoy doing the modeling. I enjoy like putting out a product that I couldn't do myself. Like I really enjoy that.
I noticed that today you were like, when the director was like, "Oh, we might have to skip through the pretty girls,"
I was like,
you were sad as hell. You're like, "What? No!"
I was like, "No, I brought fancy lingerie for this."
So for those of you who are watching, the pretty girls are basically the solo still photographs of just the young lady. So they'll use them all for promotional purposes. So it's nothing involving me. It's just the lady, looking like a pretty girl.
Like a pretty girl.
And I noticed the other thing you were doing is when the director was taking photos, you wanted to look at them.
I did.
You wanted to like check to make sure.
Sometimes I'll make a weird face and no one will tell me. And I'm like, fucking tell me, dude. Like if I don't look good right now, I can't see me. So just tell me. But some people are too nice, and the director tonight is so nice, and I was just like, you're not gonna tell me. You're not gonna tell me if I look crazy right now.
Because and that's the thing. Like, I think women have a far different standard.
They do.
Then like they look for different things in photographs. A guy will look at that photo and be like, that is hot. It's giving me a boner. Whereas you're going to look at it and be like, oh, there's an imperfection here.
Yeah.
And you're trying to like
very self-critical. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people are self-critical.
Yeah.
But particularly, I think porn girls can be uber critical.
Being in porn has made me very much more self-critical. It's made me think about my age a lot more.
Really?
I've never thought about my age before.
Why does it make you think about your age?
Because there are companies that will not book me. They refuse. So
it's purely based upon the work you can get.
It bothers me when I can't do anything to fix something. So like, it's like, oh, I want to work for you. You're too old. It's like, oh, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, it's out of your control. Yep.
It's like, what can I do about that? Literally nothing. Okay.
I mean, I'm the same way. There's a lot of companies that won't hire me because my dick ain't 12 inches long.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, well, then that's the thing. Like when I first got in the industry, I was kind of sad about that. I was like, damn.
It sucks when there's like a thing and you can't like
I'm not, I mean,
it.
Don't get me wrong. Like for those of you who are watching
it's a good dick. Don't get me wrong.
Thank you very much.
That's a good dick.
And I did actually increase its length before I got into the industry. And that is what my book is all about. So I went from being like under 6 inches to being like 7 where I am now. But for me to get to 12, that's like a good 5-year commitment. And I'm not there yet. So I'm like, God damn, I'm not gonna be able to work for like Vixen or even Evil Angel doesn't really use, like I've worked for Evil Angel twice and they don't really use me for the same thing.
I worked for them twice also. So there you go.
Yeah. I know the directors and I know the kind of guys they shoot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, these guys are all packing, really packing.
I have something to maybe make you feel better, but also will make everyone cringe. So there's a site that won't shoot me and they refuse. And I was gonna go do a go-see. So I get all dressed up, I have my makeup, everything, I'm ready, I'm going out the door, and I get a phone call and it's like, don't go. And it's like, oh, what happened? And he's like, oh, they canceled it. I was like, well, why? I didn't ask. Well, ask. What do I need to do? And do they need it to be later? Like, what the fuck? And so they called back and the quote was, don't be mad. And I was like, why am I gonna, I won't be mad at you. And he goes, so I talked to them and I told them that you look younger than 27. And cause this is a couple years ago. And he's like, and everything. And they said, yeah, no, we know she looks great. Tell her she looks great. It's not that. It's just, we don't need 27-year-olds who look 20. We need 18-year-olds who look 14. And she's just never going to fit that. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And that's when I stopped caring as much.
Yeah, that's I didn't want to hear that.
That's
Alex,
a direct
why'd
quote.
you tell me that?
That's a direct quote.
Ew.
Yeah.
Keep that to yourself next time. That's ugh.
I know.
I don't want, and I'll be the first to say I'm very open and honest about this.
I get that it's a thing right now, but I
don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. I cannot, like, I tend to typically get cast with girls, with those kind of girls because I'm the
You look
stepdad.
daddy.
I'm a dad, right?
Daddy.
So I get cast with the girl who's 18 who looks like she's 16. And I'm not into girls like that.
I'm not gonna. Okay, so
I'm not gonna lie. I'm really not into chicks like that.
Sure, and there's all kinds of types for all kinds of people, and it's not even about that. Because whenever we're on set, like we're performing, so it doesn't matter if he thinks I'm ugly. Like, you gotta fuck me anyway.
I mean,
so,
if I have to, I'm gonna.
But I'm not. I have people always ask me like, what's the weirdest kink or whatever, and I'm like, I don't have any weird ones. So it's like I look at it like. I remember when I was in high school and I had a crush on somebody, and I didn't have any like sexual encounters in high school. I didn't do any sexual stuff till I was 21. But I've talked to a lot of men, and I've talked to a lot of people that I know, and even girls, and they're like, you know what it is about the youthful look in the porn is it reminds me of my first sexual experiences. Right. And like the girls that are 18 react differently than me. They do.
Yeah.
So they have that like, oh my God, this is really happening kind of deer in the headlights look.
Maybe.
That I can't make myself have.
I feel like a lot of these 18-year-old chicks coming into porn have had just as much sex.
Okay, yeah, but not all of them. They're looking for the ones that have that reaction.
I do know.
And there are some.
I know one girl.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name her name, but I know one girl who had only had sex with 3 people before she got into porn.
Yeah.
And she got into porn at like 24.
Yeah.
So she was like fresh off the boat.
See, when I started fucking, I went a little crazy. So.
Oh, after 21. You mean.
After 21, yeah.
Huh. Let's talk about that.
Sure. Wait, should we check for questions?
This is my friend I was telling you about.
Hi.
Kebabs Over Abs is one of my oldest industry friends. She is a fantastic MFC webcam.
Cool.
From Perth in Western Australia. She is a delight, an absolute delight. So good to see you. Message me on on Facebook and say hello. Good to see you. Welcome. Anyway, I will go back through the questions at the very end. Okay. So don't worry about keeping an eye on the chat for now.
Sure. I will say hi, Jurgen. Thank you for coming.
Oh, yes, Jurgen. You can say you're very lovely.
I know Jurgen.
And he likes your dress too.
Yeah, I know Jurgen.
It's an interesting texture. It doesn't look, it feels different to what it looks like.
It feels different than what it looks like.
Yeah. So we're talking about, okay. So you popped your cherry at like 21, right? And then you say you went on like a spree.
I did.
So what was, I'm going to ask 2 different questions here. Okay. Did you have any boyfriends prior to losing your virginity? Mm-hmm. And let's start there. What were these kind of guys? How many? Like, are we talking like 1 or 2 or like a
2?
Okay.
Okay.
What were these guys like?
Yeah, not great. So.
Okay, that's a good start.
Which is probably why we didn't even kiss. So. I got my first kiss at 18.
Not great because they were too shy.
They were shitty people.
Or they were.
So I dated a guy in middle school, and we ended up breaking up, even though we held hands and we gave each other gifts and like we hung out at each other's houses and stuff, but like, and we had the title like boyfriend girlfriend, but we didn't ever kiss or anything. Yeah. And I think it's because I knew he was a piece of shit, because he ended up once we broke up, he pushed me down a flight of stairs.
Oh God.
So that was fun. And then when he found out I was doing porn, he tried to blackmail me, which was really funny. But
that's always the weirdest shit.
It was so.
There are so many people who get that message, like, you know what I'm talking about. The message is like, I've got nudes of, like, they send this message to porn people. I've got nudes of you, and I'm going to release them. Like, I mean, dumbass, they're everywhere on the internet.
It was like, I was going to visit my mom, and he lived near her, and he was like, if you don't come over here and like fuck me when you go visit your mom, then I'm going to tell her. And I was like, dude, it ain't worth it. Fucking tell her. Like, do what you want.
Go ahead. Like, and the thing is, and even in that situation, like, you call their bluff on that bullshit. Like, they're not.
Well, and it's like, I would much rather have something terrible happen to me than ever touch your dick. So, you know who you are.
He's probably not watching this.
And then the second guy I dated was very, very religious, and so we didn't do any stuff. But
because it was religious conviction.
That was perfect, because I didn't want to do any stuff, and he didn't want to do any stuff, so we were good. And we broke up after a while because he ended up getting like really possessive. And then his brothers, his twin brother, and then his other brothers convinced him that the reason that I broke up with him was because he didn't make a move. So then he made a move by like kind of like luring me over to our friend's house and then having everyone else leave and then like trying to like push it.
Right.
And I ended up like...
He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, I got a wrench and I was like...
Holy shit.
I was like, I'm leaving. Well, because he...
blocked by a wrench.
Well, because he was like, it wasn't like a come on. It was like, this is happening. You know? And so I was like, no, it's not. And so I got a wrench.
Yes. And that's a like young, like...
Yeah, I know.
There's so many things I want to talk about just by you mentioning that. Like, young dudes...
And
sort of feel like young dudes feeling the pressure to like pop their V card is a big like guys feel that pressure a lot more than girls do. I'll say that right now.
Because I don't even know if he was a virgin or anything.
Well, maybe.
But like I just know that they had convinced him that the reason that we had not worked out was because of sex, and it wasn't that, but it was like other stuff. So he was like, well, this is happening because this is how I get back with you. And I was like, it's not. That's not happening.
Okay, so that was that. Those three. And then what sort of, I mean, we don't have to talk about like your the first time, whatever. Sure. Because that's a very common question that people get. And I kind of
honestly, I don't care because it's a quick story. So it's sorry.
What I was going to say was sort of what kind of made you want to, finally go through it.
Honestly, it was just sexual tension because I moved
elaborate. Now we're getting juicy.
I moved in with him, and so we were living together for a few months, and his roommate was an atheist, and so I was like very scared of hell and stuff. So his roommate turned me atheist.
Yep.
And then I'd been living there for a couple months, and I was not so worried about hell anymore, still a little bit, and I was like. I also like I was never told that sex was fun. It was more like a thing to like avoid. And so I had done my own research and I disagreed with that, but I was still like I had it in the back of my head that sex was bad and that it was not fun and it was painful and I would regret it. And so it's just like I had to overcome that. So one night we were sleeping next to each other and I woke up and I was horny and I masturbated and I just kept going and going and going and I was like I can't. Like, this isn't enough. This isn't enough at all. He's right there. And so...
Did you molest a man? Did you molest a young man?
Only a little. So...
Holy...
I woke him up.
All right, we're stopping. We're stopping.
I woke him up. He consented. I woke him up and I was like, we need to do it. We need to do it right now. And he's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I was like, no, look. And so I blew him and he was like, you're really good at that.
Damn.
And I was like,
had you given a BJ before?
No.
That was your first?
He was my first everything. Literally everything.
I think it was just the enthusiasm.
I studied. Oh, I read erotica. I read textbooks on like biology and shit. I knew what the frenulum was. Like I knew everything.
You're light years ahead of
I read all kinds of shit. I Googled stuff. I watched a lot of porn once I hit 17 and I had my own laptop and I was in college. And so I had studied. So I was very good. He actually was mad at me after because he was like, I don't think you were a virgin. I was like, I totally was. He's like, I don't believe you.
So
that
randy.
Was too good. And
I'm not even sure if I believe you now either, to be honest, Alex.
I know.
Just the way you...
It's just like, my life is a little unbelievable.
Well.
But...
Okay, so you said you got it out of your system. Well, you didn't get any system.
So
you went on like a tear.
I hopped on top and rode him until he came. So.
But then you said you had like a stretch.
Yes.
Where you sort of went nuts.
We were still together. We ended up being together for like 5 years. So we stayed monogamous for another like year and a half. And he was like, he didn't like sex very much. So he was like, look, I need you to not bother me about this anymore. I need you to stop pestering me about it because it's a strain. So just go do what you need to do and just don't tell me about it. And I was like, are you serious? And at first I resisted, but then eventually I was like, hey, so remember when you said that I could go do what I needed to do and you just didn't want me to tell you about it? Did you mean that? And he's like, why? I was like, don't ask.
I'm not telling you about it.
He's like, yeah, I meant it. And I was like, okay.
So he was like, he's like, I can't satisfy. He was sort of admitting, I can't satisfy your clearly.
We
I
are
can't
not
satisfy
sexually
you
compatible.
Yeah, so you need to fucking go somewhere else.
Everything else was really great at the time. Now I know it wasn't, but that was the only thing.
Damn.
And I had needs. And he was more a once a month kind of guy, and I was more of a
once a month.
Yeah, maybe 2 months. So it was
okay. Look, to be fair, I'll play devil's advocate here for like a split second.
Oh yeah, it's not. It's
to be fair, like what as a dude, like I am fundamentally on the team of guys need strange pussy, and by that I mean they need to fuck around because once you get into a relationship with a chick, like once the honeymoon period wears off, like I've kind of been in that spot, to be honest, where it's like you would jump on another girl in a heartbeat, but it's like, yeah, I mean, like we've done this a bunch of times already. It's like, okay,
it's an interesting,
but it depends upon the girl. I mean, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it's an interesting take for sure. That hasn't been my experience, at least with guys that have like worked out and been like good dudes.
It's been a good relationship.
Yeah. So it's like,
well, there's that aspect to it as well.
Totally.
If she's annoying the hell out of me, then it's probably why I'm like, wanting to fuck her.
Yeah. I would think then you'd want to like hate fuck. That'd be cool. But
well, I end up doing that a lot on set. I get a few hate fucks in here and there, where it's just like, and it tends to be when the chick is like sitting there on her fucking Instagram. all goddamn day.
Trust me, I've been behind the camera too, so I've watched. I literally called cut on a girl because she was dragging her teeth on the guy's dick on purpose. Like you could see it.
God damn it!
You could see the. So I was like, "Cut! What the fuck is wrong with you?" And she's like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? What do you need? Did he piss you off? I can see you." And we took a break. Yeah. But I was like, if you ever do that again, I'll kick you off. You'll pay him a kill fee.
You'd be surprised how many girls in this industry are actually atrocious at giving a blowjob. You'd be shocked.
There's definitely like how to give a blowjob that feels good and how to give a blowjob that looks good. And they are not the same.
Fucking bingo, exactly. Yeah, that's the whole like pterodactyl fucking sound. Like slobbery shit. It looks great on camera, but it's like okay, well, what do you do? Like if you keep doing this for like 20 minutes, my dick's gonna go numb. It's like
there's a time and place.
What's time and place? Like I feel like, but when I see that, I feel like a lot of these, especially, and I see that a lot from more from like the younger girls.
I've totally been directed to do more of that. Before.
It's definitely a trend. Like it's like a popular thing to see. But I feel like whenever I see a younger girl do it, I feel like they're doing it more to show off.
Yeah.
They're like, look what I can do, rather than like focusing on the guy they're trying to fuck. That's the difference. Like the difference. Like someone who gives a good BJ is looking to please the dude. And that's a big difference. A real big difference. And I don't think we see it. At least look as a guy who gets blown professionally, right? Tis my observation.
You would know better than me, so I'll take your word.
Yeah, you haven't been blown as many times as I have.
Yeah. So, but that's why I started fucking around. I got on ashleymadison.com and I made an account, and I made a single person's account, and I would only accept requests from single people accounts, and because I'm not about cheating at all, and so
isn't that what Ashley Madison is for, though? Isn't that what Ashley
Madison's for finding no strings attached hookups? Period. Like that's what I used it for. I never met with anyone who was like not single, and I would check that by going to their homes. So
well, that makes sense.
So it's like if we can't fuck at your house, then we can't fuck. So which was cool because like one of the first dudes I hooked up with was the ex UFC fighter, and he was disabled. It was we met at a bar. Because you never meet somebody at their house for the first time. So we met at a bar and he came in with a cane and he was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't tell you, but I didn't think you'd meet me." I was like, "Let's go. Let's go right now. I don't need a drink. Let's go." Like,
get the fuck out of here.
This is perfect. Let's just fucking go. And we fucked for 6 hours straight. So, and he was
in a wheelchair?
No, he had a cane.
Oh.
Yeah. So he was in a construction accident. Steel beam had fallen on him and crushed his little feet.
Jesus.
And one of his knees. And so, but man could fuck. Oh
I mean, that's a that's a super common trend, like at fighters. Like dudes who fight professionally.
Not always, because the only other UFC fighter I fucked was terrible. Terrible. Monty, I hate you.
Don't be dropping like hate on my live stream.
He fucked up my back for 2 weeks. I had to cancel shoots.
He put your back out.
No, he was okay. So the scene was like a massage, and he was trying to massage me, but he was going so hard. It was like harder.
So you hit the muscle.
And it hurt the muscle, for 2 weeks. And then he got down to the pussy and was like, give me a fucking rug burn.
What's the expression? Like he's playing DJ. He's like,
what is this?
He's like sanding. He's getting
It's
a
like
sanding
that.
belt
It's
going.
I really like this trend in rap music where girls are saying like, don't be rough with my clit, just fucking lick it. I really like that because it's information the young men need to know.
Was it? I actually couldn't. I couldn't remember because we worked the first time. Maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Longer than that, I think.
It's
been a month or two.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I feel like I don't know.
It was fantastic.
Probably a
I
month.
didn't think it was that long ago.
Probably a month.
But I couldn't remember because I remember. I don't know. You're going to tell me now if it was you or not. I can't remember if it was you that told me this or if it was another girl who specifically told me before we got to the pussy eating part. Like, oh, I like long strokes.
I did not.
That wasn't you?
No.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know. I was like mixing it up because I was like, I can't remember if she said she liked this style or this style. I couldn't remember. So I was like mixing it up.
I like gentle, flat tongue on the clit, just like, yeah, like that.
There you go. Marty's like, he was probably having a seizure.
Is that a reference? Because I made a guy have a seizure once.
Oh, snap, really?
Kind of. Not really, but it's what it's titled on Pornhub.
Oh, my God.
He came, and as soon as he came, he like shook like this, and then he fell. And he hit the ground, and I went, oh, God, are you okay?
Dude, I remember the first ever porn, like content I shot for myself. And I look back at it now, and I just remember like it was a POV, and I remember trying to hold the fucking camera and orgasm at the same time. Like as a dude, you learn really quickly to like hold keep your hand steady as you're like because it was all over the fucking place.
I don't know how the guys do it that come and don't do that, but they just like and then it's out. It's like
You've got to concentrate.
How did you not move?
Let's change tact a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to. So one of my inspiration for this whole segment was to ask girls about like the creepy DMs they get all the time. But
I don't
delete your message request. Is that what you're telling me? You delete.
I double check because a lot of people contact me with questions and they're like, hey, so if I wanted to find this, where do I go? And so I'll look at those. But if it's just like an escorting request, I delete it. If it's just an emoji, I delete it. If it's just hi, I delete it. If it's not an actual like question, I just delete it. But there are nice messages, and I do like to just look. And then the bad messages don't really bother me, and there aren't that many of them. So
you seem to like just looking. We looked very briefly at your Instagram DMs. I mean, like you said, you sort of cleaned them out, there wasn't that many there. But your fans seem really lovely. They're super nice. I mean, maybe you're doctoring it because you've deleted a bunch.
No, they're just mostly super nice people.
And judging by what some of the guys obviously there's a couple of your fans here in the chat, they seem incredibly respectful and nice. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm used to like, tell you what, I'm going to show you a DM I got today.
I love my men so much.
I'm going to get you a DM.
And that's how I think about them. They're my men. So like Jurgen and everybody.
Have a read of that. That was a request from, that was a custom video request that I will not be doing. I'm going to read it out to you guys in a minute.
Nathan would do it.
Yeah, Nathan would probably do it.
Yeah. I respect that.
That just disturbs me. No way in hell
everyone has their limits, and I actually like.
I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys a read of this. So like, because you don't have any juicy DMs, I've got a juicy DM for you today. So I'm not going to tell you, who was sending it, but the question was, how much would you charge for a super rough custom 15 minutes, a fake RAPE? I'm not going to say that word because it'll probably get me demonetized.
It will.
A fake RAPE scene where you break in with a firearm. You pretend to go bang bang. I'm trying to not like. I'm trying to use.
And then she goes excise.
Yeah, you pretend to go bang and then have sex with her as she pretends to cease to breathe, no longer be on this world. And then like this last bit's weird. And then lots of rough sex and foot worship. I'm like, what? How is she supposed to worship my feet if she's?
Well, you're worshiping her feet.
No. This guy likes it the other way around. I know this guy. He's looking for the chick to worship the dude's feet. And I'm like, what the fuck? But I will not be doing that request.
Yeah.
That definitely very much passes my goes beyond my boundaries.
I can't say a lot because I like fucked up porn. I mostly watch hentai and like monster hentai, so you guys know what that is.
There's a lot of that. Is another really common thread amongst porn stars.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people.
I like shit
hentai.
you can't do with real people.
That makes sense.
And I would never want to do it with a real person. It's just like, I don't know. There's something about not at all being in control and just having crazy shit happen to you that's like really hot. But I don't even want it to like necessarily happen to me. Like if a tentacle monster was here, I wouldn't be like, oh joy.
Well, that's an interesting thing.
Unless they were hot.
Have you ever read a book called My Secret Garden?
No.
By Nancy Friday.
I don't think so.
It is a very eye-opening book. It is about what happened was I think Nancy was like a New York Times journalist, right? And she put out an article saying, hey, I want women to write in anonymously. I want you to write in your deepest, darkest sexual fantasy. And then she compiled them into a book. And that book is My Secret Garden. And it is just like what you just said it kind of verbatim, where it was like the fantasies there's quite a lot of RAPE fantasies in the book, very extreme ones.
It's the #1 fantasy among women.
It is. And you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. Yeah. But that is super common in the book. And the other thing that's common in the book is what you just said, the way you phrased it. It's like, because it's a fantasy, you're in control of it because it's in your head.
Yeah.
In real life,
it's totally different.
It's totally different. Yeah. Totally different. Like in real life, if you're in that scenario, you'd be like, holy crap, get me out of here.
Yeah.
But because you're in control of not being in control.
Yeah, everything's perfect in your head.
Bingo.
So everything's perfect in your head. Every detail aligns. And there are no consequences.
Marty, you've got it. That's exactly what do you want?
Bang, bang, suck my toes.
That's exactly what he was. I'm like, how does that work?
Pew, suck my toes.
Exactly, how does that work? Bull rush. So, do you prefer using floggers, crops, paddles, or straps? I am quite handy with the flogger. I'm actually, thanks to having worked for kink.com quite a bit, I'm very good with the flogger. For some reason, I always crops. Like it took me a lot longer to get used to the rhythm with a crop compared to a flogger. But I genuinely love floggers myself. How about you, Alex? Have you done much BDSM stuff?
Yeah, more for myself because I think I don't have the look that people are looking for dom porn.
I don't know. I think
I just haven't been asked very much.
Well, they're not really shooting right now either.
Sure. I mean,
there's that.
I've only been asked I've only been asked to play sub roles, and I got to be in the right mood for it. The longer I live, the less submissive I am. So, and I'm not into like. It's kind of like I was saying, like I have non-consent fantasies, so it's like I'm not into like oh, I'm submissive and quiet. It's like, no, we're gonna fight. Like my favorite thing to do, one of my exes was perfect for this because he understood. And so I would go over and he'd chase me around the house until he caught me. And then once he caught me, we would fight.
Like wrestle? Like
wrestling and like hair pulling and like scratching and like biting and like just slamming each other into walls and shit. Like,
wait, so he'd let you slam him into walls?
He didn't let me do anything. I'm a lot stronger than I look. One of my exes, we couldn't do it at all because he was not stronger than me.
He couldn't out wrestle you.
Like he'd try to pin me down and I would just lift him. And I'd be like,
how heavy was the guy? He must have been like 100.
He was heavier than me. But,
how the hell is that?
And taller than me. But I don't know. I have violent energy.
Violent genes.
I've never lost a fight.
What? Do you know what ethnic background you are?
I'm Native American and French, and I'm sure there's some other shit mixed in there, but those are the main ones.
I was going to say maybe there's some Viking in there.
Right? I don't know.
Chest pressing your boyfriends.
It's probably the Native American part, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
Because my mom's a lot stronger than she seems.
Probably.
So
I haven't. It's funny. You're the second girl I've worked with in the last month who said that they've got Native American genes in them.
Yeah.
And I'm not from obviously not from America. I'm from Australia.
Right.
So I don't have a clue what to look for to tell if someone is kind of like ethnically like Native American or not, facially.
It's not what people generally think.
Right.
But that we could do a whole show on that.
Well,
so a lot of people are also everything's so mixed in and stuff. And so I'm white passing, absolutely. But I'm around half. So Yeah, because between my mom and dad, they both had some from different tribes. And my mom's side a lot more, but
you got the pasty skin instead.
I'm a pale person right now, but I also like stay indoors a lot. So no, for years I didn't go outside at all. This is like just recent, but because I've been trying to like protect my skin. I live in Las Vegas and the sun's really intense, and
It's nasty out in Vegas.
I've seen what happens when you aren't careful. So I do a lot of sunscreen and stuff.
You know, the funny thing is that I noticed so in Australia they have, for those of you who remember this, back in the 80s they had this thing called the ozone layer. There's like a giant hole in the ozone layer, and it appeared right above Australia, and so the sun, particularly where I'm from in Western Australia, is fucking god awful. Like if I go out for like 20 minutes in Australia, I am pink like a lobster. But if I do that here, it's not a big deal. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm fine. It's just staggeringly different.
Yeah, if I tan, I get super dark.
Going back really briefly to your DMs, I forgot to mention, when we were going through her DMs before, there was a couple of marriage proposals.
Yes.
In there. As much as I was saying, like that's the thing, like your fans seemed kind of like really nice because it was like, it wasn't like,
it was like, I love your nails and like,
like nice pedicure and
I hope you had a really good scene today.
Will you marry me? Like, and I've seen other girls' DMs and they're a lot more perverted than that, shall we say.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely get the nasty shit too, but I don't encourage it, so I think I get less of it because the people that are into that just move on.
It seems that maybe it is a product of the webcamming.
Definitely. A lot of the people that know me from webcam, but it's not even just that, because there's a lot of new fans that I have that are very polite and nice, and I think I don't, and this, nothing I say is like, it's just how I do things. It's not how anyone should do anything. Yeah. Because I'm not the top of my class in any of my career choices. So it's like, don't just like take what I'm saying as like, this is how you should do it because I said so. It's like, this is just how I do it because it's how I'm most comfortable. I don't lie about anything. I am an open book. I tell people about my life. Everyone knows that my anniversary is November 10th and that we'll be hitting 3 years this year. Yeah. And like people talk to my boyfriend, like if we're on cam, they'll talk to him and stuff. But like, I've just always been very clear. Like, I don't offer full service. I won't ever. Yeah. Like, there's nothing there to go off of. There's no like, so you're saying there's a chance? Like, there's just
there's no chance.
So it's always like, oh, thanks. Like, that's sweet, but no.
Have you ever had? And I know you said you sort of delete messages. Have you ever had the blue check marks slide into your DMs? Oh,
totally. Yeah. No, totally.
How often does this happen to you?
Not that often for me, and I think again it is because it's not like I don't know how I come off. You guys can tell me, but I don't make myself available. I'm not like available.
You don't really. I mean, it sounds a bit weird saying this to a porn star, but you don't come across as like Instagram ethot.
Right. Like it's
it is your fifth Instagram though, so maybe if you'd been given enough time, you would.
I think it's just like and I'm sure this is gonna get taken the wrong way. I just think that the way I carry myself and the way that I respond to things keeps people understanding my limits and boundaries so that they can stay within them. Because I think a lot of the time limits and boundaries aren't clear, especially when people don't understand that, like, for a lot of people, Twitter's a performance. For a lot of people, they're porn person like Alex Cole or Stirling Cooper. It's a character that they're playing the character, and then at the end of the night, there's someone else. But for me, I'm always Alex Cole. So
yeah, I'm pretty much always Stirling Cooper.
Yeah.
With the exception is that
guys don't do it as much.
No, the exception is that, like, if anything, on camera I'm a dork.
Yeah.
In real life, I'm not a dork.
Okay.
Like I'm playing like.
Well, I'm leaving.
I'm playing like I'm playing the schlub. On as like, you know, like today. Right, like to teach the.
I don't think you were a schlub.
No, but I was like being taken advantage of. Sure. Kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I wasn't.
I did threaten you. Okay, you're right.
She threatened my son. She threatened she was going to fail my son.
Can we say it? Can we say what we did today?
What?
I don't know. We can.
Well, I just did.
Yeah. Okay, sure. That's enough.
It's like coercion. She coerced me.
I coerced you, but you did come over wanting to. It's just that when you found out.
Well, clearly it's an elaborate backstory, and you're just going to have to go watch it to understand. It's so in depth. I don't think you realize how in depth the storyline was for today. But you actually said something. Actually, no, I'm going to finish this point about blue check. Okay, blue check marks.
Yes.
Because this is something that I'm very curious about, and I know there's guys in the chat who are curious about it, especially where are you, Fresh Prince? Especially this guy, Fresh Prince CEO, who's like an Instagram. He teaches people how to like pimp out their Instagram profiles. And his is fantastic. And his dog is adorable. Oh. So, guys who have blue check marks sliding into DMs, you don't have to name names.
Sure.
But you obviously check them out when you see the blue check mark, right? You see who's actually DMing.
I don't really give a fuck, honestly. So I look at all the messages the same.
So you can't tell me, like, you know, if you've had, say, athletes versus rappers versus actors sliding up in your DMs?
If I had to narrow it, I would say actors. And then it's a weird, like, I don't have like a type. It's kind of like the same. It's like
you'd be surprised though. The actors.
I went on a date with an actor that talked to me, but he actually talked to me through Twitter instead, and we're still friends. And I like him a lot.
That's so okay. So I actually see a pattern, and the pattern is that the BBW girls, or the like the obvious, like the thick, like thick Latina girls as well, they get NBA players sliding up in them, and
I get a lot of football.
Yeah. And that boom,
okay, DJs, actors, football,
different. It's different.
Basketball.
You do get basketballs.
I do.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you do have a booty.
Yeah.
You got to like. Okay. This young lady has what I refer to as a surprise booty.
Yes.
And I will explain in detail.
And mannequin boobs.
And mannequin.
People thought that was an insult. I don't know why.
Yeah. Because I think I said that to you the first time.
You did.
Yeah.
You're the only one that's ever said it.
I said I don't really hold back. I kind of just speak my mind.
But it's a good thing.
But I said, what did I say? I think I said your boobs don't look like they should be real.
Yeah.
Something
but
like that.
The first thing you said was, don't take this the wrong way, but you have mannequin boobs.
Oh, I actually did say that, didn't I?
And I was like, what?
And the director agreed with me the moment when I said that. Andrew was like, yeah, that's exactly right. And
then Olive was like, what?
Yeah, Olive glassed.
I was like, I think I get it. I was like, I don't, but explain.
Well, yeah, because you look just your upper half looks just like
a mannequin
you see in the store.
Yeah.
And you today on set you were like, I don't have any cleavage. I have a valley.
I have
a gaping hole, a gap.
There's a gap
where there should be cleavage.
Oh, I wasn't complaining about it.
No, I just find it funny that you were phrasing it.
Yeah.
But Alex Cole has what I describe as a surprise booty, because, like, looking at you now, even if you stood up, you wouldn't be able to tell she has the booty she has. And on top of that, photos don't do it justice. It is such a surprise. It is the most surprising of surprise booties I've ever worked with that I didn't know it was a booty until I was up in it, and then I'm like, damn, this is a real booty. It just completely took me by surprise. Kebabs, is this? I'm going to jump in. Kebabs, are these the people that slide into your DMs? I'm curious. Let me know in the chat if that's a yes, because you act as an YouTuber.
I'm going to assume so.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what slides into your. Do you know Kebabs?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you might know it because you're a.
I mean, I don't recognize that name.
MFC. That's not a real.
Oh, there's over 25,000 girls on MFC.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
And they don't let guys on there.
No, they don't. No penis is allowed. Only vagina.
Did you know that MFC now owns OnlyFans?
I did.
They bought them like 18 months ago, I think. Mm-hmm. I only found that out recently. I did not know that, but that is a very eye-opening.
I consider Leo a close personal friend, so he talked to me about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I love him. He's so great. Hi, Leo. Alex, I love you too, but Leo talks to me more. So.
Well, fine. Well, Danny Arnold, the abusive, pervy gynecologist character. That was one of my favorite. That was something I did with. I did it for Ricky Greenwood for Mr. X. Or was it Family Center? One of them. With Cody Steele and Ashley Lane, and it was my favorite fucking characters I've ever played. I had, literally, like, Ricky wrote the script, and one of the lines in the script was, it would appear that your tiny penis has barely perforated her hymen. It's the greatest line ever written in a porno. I'll tell you that right now.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Let's change tact. So
I like that you have notes.
Yeah, just keep myself on track. What? A lot of the time, when girls go on, get interviewed, when porn girls get interviewed, a lot of the time they get asked by guys what they get, and this is something that really pisses me off. They get asked, how do I last longer in bed? How do I get longer lasting erections? Blah, 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 blah. Right? They asked the chicks this.
Yeah.
Which is the fucking wrong person to ask. They should be asking this guy right here. Yeah. So what I'm going to ask you instead is, what advice would you give to women to be better in the bedroom?
Well, the advice that I give to everybody is communicate. That's honestly, any trouble I've ever had in the bedroom has been from a lack of communication or a feeling like communication wasn't encouraged.
Or like it wasn't an option.
Well, and it's not even like that, because that's extreme. But if you're worried about hurting the person's feelings, then that's also more often it's that, where it's like, man, if it was just slightly different, then I'd come really hard. But
I see what you're saying. Like, now I get what you're saying, and this is a really good point. You're afraid and you're saying this as a woman, you're afraid to hurt his ego by saying, hey,
and that goes both
you
ways.
need to change things a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So, and I feel like that goes both ways, because I'd always encourage anyone I'm having sex with, and you know this too, because I bothered you about it. It's like, tell me the things you like, tell me the things you don't like, and then tell me anything that you're like hoping will happen, tell me that. And then during the scene, especially with girl scenes, because girls are worse at speaking up, men are generally a little better about speaking up, but I've had men also be nervous to speak up. But I'll tell girls, like, and feel free to like tell me what to do, like harder, softer, up, down, left, right, stop. Like just tell me.
Stop.
Feel free to move my head, like whatever. Like, because I can't read your mind. So I would say the advice from me that I always give people when they ask that question is talk. Make sure that it's clear before you start that it's like, hey, I want you to have a great time. You want me to have a great time. Let's just make it clear. No matter what you say, I'm not going to get my fucking feelings hurt tonight. Right. I want to make you feel good. So that's how I've always approached it. And I feel like that's good.
I'm going to drop a bit of knowledge on you guys who are watching, a bit of freebie. One of the things that I do in my personal life is when I am, because this goes on what you just mentioned. Women don't want to hurt a dude's like ego. Yeah. Right. So the worst fucking thing a dude, like, perfect example, if you're going down on a chick and you're trying to make a girl orgasm from cunnilingus, right? A completely fucking useless thing to ask her is, does that feel good? Or do you like that? Here's why. Because she's always going to say yes. She isn't going to tell you the truth and be like, no, you're doing this completely wrong. It feels like you're, like starting a fire or whatever the fuck. Because she doesn't want to hurt your ego. A better way of approaching that exact situation is to say, I only want you to say 4 things: harder or softer, faster or slower. And you direct your partner. You're giving them the tools to communicate with you in a way that is not going to hurt that they know is not going to hurt your ego. Yeah. That they know that, like, because like if you say faster, slower, harder, softer, like you can't like offend a dude with that. He can't be like, oh, she hates me because of that. It's like, oh, perfect. Now I have a tool to communicate to this guy. Here's how you eat my pussy properly, and you do these 4 things. It's like super easy. But, and you're absolutely. And Bull Rush jumps in here real quick. BDSM requires a lot of communication between the dom and the sub, of course. Yeah. The one thing that most people don't realize in a BDSM situation is that the sub actually has the power.
All the power, in the
situation. Yeah. Right? Because the sub is the one that sets all the boundaries and sets all the rules and the safe words, and this is sort of negotiated in advance. Yeah. Particularly on a porn set. Yeah. I'm gonna probably we'll go for like a couple more minutes. We're gonna be going almost an hour. There's something. Okay. There's a quick question I want to ask you though. Actually, there's 2 more questions. Hey,
I'm here, so
you're here.
Yeah, we can go for another hour. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, fuck it. Well, we got 42 people watching live right now. So drop some. If you guys have some questions, drop them in the chat right now, because we'll absolutely, we'll answer as many questions as you guys like. We'll keep going. Marty and Bull Rush are just going back and forth in the chat.
I know.
Thank you, Marty. I'm
I like it. I like it when the people on live have friendships among themselves too.
Well, these two are just ripping the shit out of each other. Yeah.
Well,
they've been on my stream before. They know what's up.
Yeah.
So the question I was going to ask you was, do you know what the word? Are you familiar with the term simp?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
I think I think it's being a little abused now, but I think
what do you think the original definition is?
Go ahead and tell me.
No, you have. I want to hear what your because you've probably seen it floating around Twitter a lot lately.
I also watch a lot of PewDiePie, so I really want his simp munch. I really want his simp merch. Jesus Christ, squirrels in my pants.
I don't watch.
So simp means squirrels in my pants.
I know who he is, but I don't watch his stuff.
Simp means squirrels in my pants.
For PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's what it says on the shirt.
Okay, screw it. I like that. I might have to get that shirt. That's pretty funny.
I don't know if it's what it actually is, but simp always was like short for simpleton to me. That's how it's always like read to me, and I think it's a derogatory.
It is a derogatory term. It is a derogatory term.
I think it's like when you're simping for somebody, it's like it's first of all, it's pointless. Second of all, it's disingenuous. That's how it feels to me. Like when you see people doing that on Twitter, calling someone. When I think of somebody and I'm like, oh man, stop simping. Like to me, it's like you're doing too much. You're like going too far. Like people being like, I said, hey, my hair's getting stupid long again, and they were like, your hair is perfect and stuff like that. It's like it's like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not being negative. I don't need a pat on the back or anything. I'm okay. Like it's like, it's I don't know. It's hard to explain.
So you're actually like, in terms of like what it really means, you're actually pretty
white knight
close.
Is another way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, basically, yeah. So the technical term for it is an acronym, and it stands for sucker idolizing mediocre pussy. Is actually where the phrase came, or the original definition of it was.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and so like you'll see guys throwing around in context at like guys you would refer to as a white knight, or in what you just like kind of what you just described. It's kind of interesting to hear a woman.
I think it has changed.
Like that.
I think it has changed the meaning because
it's getting thrown around.
It's more wide.
It's a lot more.
People are using it way too widely now, but I think I think I get how it started that way, and I think it started that way as like derogatory toward both, like the girl and the dude, and I think now you can use it and not be derogatory toward the girl.
I don't think when you read the acronym out, it does come across as like derogatory to chicks. I don't think it was meant to be. I think it was primarily meant for the dude.
I think if you say mediocre pussy, you know what you're saying.
That's why they turned it into an acronym. Yeah. To make it simple.
Yeah, but I think the meaning there is pretty clear. It's like, oh, you're simping for this bitch, and she isn't even that. Like,
it's basically the purpose of it was to try and tell guys not put girls on a pedestal. Because what you just described then, the example you just gave is a perfect example of it, where you were like, oh, my hair's feeling whatever.
I said, hey, remember when my hair was stupid long? It's getting that way again.
And then dudes are like, no, you're perfect in every way.
And it's like, I'm not perfect.
That is called putting a woman on a pedestal. And a perfect example of how much they don't like it. She just fucking admitted it.
I mean, if I do something actually good, then that's great.
Yeah.
So like, I think now the wide usage is like a little much, because it's like PewDiePie says, he's like, oh, nice to a girl, simp.
Yeah, that's a caricature.
You saw a girl and didn't set her on fire. Fuck you fucking simp. Like, seriously, like that's kind of what it is now.
Well, I feel that's definitely like it's a caricature of its original intention.
I've seen people get called a simp for being like, I love that scene. You look really great. Like, that's not a simp move. That's just like commenting on my work. You
kind of hit a definition I've used for it before. Is like when you're
it's disingenuous.
Well, it's when you're rewarding someone for you're rewarding in the context like when you're rewarding a chick for not really having done anything, like you just said. You know, like it would feel better if people were complimenting you for something you'd earned, versus like you didn't do anything, and they're like, have affection and compliments.
And I like hearing that I'm pretty and stuff, but I don't know. I've never like.
Who doesn't like hearing that? I like hearing I'm pretty.
So my feeling on that is I like how I look, but I don't think I'm like anything like crazy or special or anything like that. I'm very content. And so to get a lot of like, oh my God, you're so pretty. It's like, I don't know what to say to that because I don't.
Yeah, let's touch on that really quickly. Is it overwhelming?
It's. I guess.
I want you keep going with your train of thought because I'm going to tie in my experience of gay Twitter.
Okay. because it's like, it starts to feel very disingenuous, where it's like, you're perfect. And it's like, no, I'm not. Why would you say that? And it's like, and that's where the disingenuous part comes in, where it's like, I don't really believe you. I feel like this is copy paste to everybody. What really matters at this point, especially 5 going on 6 years in, is like when I get those messages that are like, hey, I had a really rough day at work, but I came home and I saw this video of you and it made me smile. So like, thank you for that. Or, hey, you really helped me through that one time, or whatever it is. And it's like that kind of stuff makes me feel good. My looks are going to fade. It's not permanent. So if I don't base my value on my attractiveness, and I don't really appreciate it when other people base my value on my attractiveness. So like the marriage proposals and stuff, it's like, but you don't know me. You don't know anything about me, really. Like, because most of the people doing that they've never talked to me before. So they're just like, hi, I saw a picture of you and you're really hot and you also like fuck. So let's get married. I love you. And it's like, no, that will never work. Stop asking anyone.
When Bella Rowland was here,
yeah,
she was telling me this glorious story, how one of her best DMs she ever got was a guy asking to marry her, and the dowry he offered her was 7 goats and 4 pails of fish, and he sent her photos of the dowry he was offering her for her hand in marriage.
I mean, that's more than a lot of people. A lot of people are just like
that dedefinitely made him stand out, because she remembered him.
Yeah.
So there's definitely
He's actually offering something.
There's something in that.
So
but I feel like, touching on what you just said there, where you're like, okay, they know nothing about you, they want to marry, and they're offering marriage proposals, right?
Yeah.
Here's something that I noticed. And obviously you're in a relationship, so this might be not quite, you're in a special relationship too. I know you briefly touched on it before.
Sure.
Last time we worked, so we're not going to talk about it.
Sure.
But I know that it's not a typical relationship.
We're open,
to say the least.
Yeah.
Okay, you're really open.
Yeah. It's not a secret.
Okay.
Everybody knows everything.
But what happens with because there was a thing recently where Riley Reid posted on her Instagram that she'd broken up with her boyfriend or something, and was like distraught about it. And what happens, I see a lot of the time, is that guys get into relationships with porn chicks, and they get into it because there's like the fantasy, the allure, and the ego boost from a guy of being with a porn girl. It's like, I got to fuck a porn star, whatever it is, right? And then once the honeymoon phase wears off, like 6 months down the line or whatever, then the dude is like, wait a minute, I don't actually like my girlfriend fucking other dudes. Honey, can you stop that? Like that kind of bullshit.
Can you change your entire career for me, please?
Right. It's like, retroactively, I actually don't fucking like this thing. Versus like, but I've seen very, very happy relationships where the girl was doing porn, and the guy she wants to date is like, I'm not comfortable with you doing porn, so if we're going to be a thing, you have to stop doing porn. She's like, okay, and that's fine, and they're very happy.
Sure.
But it's like
different strokes.
Exactly. But when the dudes come in, kind of like it's like a bait and switch. They're like, oh, I'm happy with it.
Great.
Everything's great. And then like 6 months,
everything's not great.
Nope, switch it around. You know. The other question I was going to ask before we jump into the last few questions we got in the chat here was: do you get when you are out and about in your regular life? Do you get hit on very much?
It's a mixed bag. So like I didn't get hit on very much at all until I was older, and then I think people maybe were scared of me. I don't know, but I've gotten that a lot. Like when I ask people, it's like, hey, so like, why didn't you talk to me until now? And it's like, oh, well, I was kind of scared of you. Like, oh,
really?
Okay. I don't know why.
You don't come across as intimidating to me.
I think I'm intimidating to some people.
You have you definitely have, with the glasses on, you have like the librarian who's going to tell you to shush look.
Sure. Yeah.
You're like, quiet. Get back to reading a book.
I don't mean to come off that way,
Well,
but I don't know. I guess I do. But
you certainly don't have resting bitch face.
I don't get hit on like a normal person though. Like I get stalked and stuff. Like I went to Winco, and it's a grocery store in Vegas, and I was at Winco and I got bothered by 5 different people. 2 of them were employees. I've been bothered at Smith's by like another employee. Okay, so me and another cam girl went to go get like mixers, and so we're in the aisle, we're looking at this shit, and this guy's sweeping, and he sweeps by, and he's like, something about like a hot mom-daughter action type thing. And I was like, we're the same age. This is not, fuck. She was really mad. But, and we yelled at him a little bit. But it was like...
So that was the first one.
There's that one. And then when I went by myself, the one worst time was I had 5 people bother me. And I had a dad with his son try to talk to me. And I was like, I just want to shop. I'm okay. And he followed me from aisle to aisle to aisle to aisle. I had to like finally be like, can you please not follow me anymore? Jesus. And so then after that, I was trying to get something else. And I asked a guy working there. And then after that, he just kept following me. And I was like, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Fucking hell.
Like, but that kind of stuff happens a lot where it's just, I just get followed. And so that day, like 5 different people did it. And it's just, I don't know. I think people open up to me. I think I'm very approachable.
That's the unfortunate like paradox there, right? Is that you look nice and friendly and approachable. And so what happens is that you get guys who would normally not approach a chick because they're too shy, they feel like they can do it with you.
It happened on the drive here, actually. I totally forgot. I stopped at one gas station on my way from Vegas to LA, and this guy was having an argument with a woman, and there was a kid there, and I was like, I don't want none of that. And so I was looking at some dresses that they had at the fucking gas station because it's one of the giant ones. It's super giant. It's got a bunch of stuff. If you're
why would you buy a dress at a gas station?
It's the second guest. I bought one, so shut up. It's very cute.
You are
I will show you, and you will regret it.
The reason
it's so cute. It's green and red, and I love it. And it was the last one. So I'm looking at the dresses, and the guy comes over and he's like, "Oh yeah, those are really pretty dresses." And I was like, "Yeah." And I went back to what I was doing because I didn't know what they were fighting about. Maybe it was talking about women or something. So I was like, I don't want any. And then he's like,
I'm just plugging the power in. Oh. You got to get out for 1 second. Very quickly.
My legs don't work anymore.
My laptop battery came out. Plug came out, so we got to jump it in.
No worries.
Aha, there we go. That's what happened.
Ta-da! Fixed it. I like your gaming chair, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But, yeah, sorry, all my stories are long-winded.
No, that's good. All right, we're back. We're back online.
Never a quiet moment.
We're good. Yeah.
Can they do super chats and stuff?
I don't have enough hours viewed on the channel yet to enable super chats. We're about 2/3 of the way there.
Cool.
So
you'll have to teach me how to do that.
The longer the stream goes, the closer we get to that deadline.
Okay, let me check my phone super fast, and we'll get back into the story about the creepy guy.
While you're checking your phone, I'm gonna the reason I brought the DM stuff before, and I mentioned really briefly for those of you who are listening that I get like an insight into this kind of behavior myself through my gay fans on my main Twitter account is Safe for Work because I used to promote this kind of stuff, and I have a backup account which is basically just all hardcore pornography, and I get a lot of DMs from gay fans and that stuff, and it's the exact same thing like you just said. It's just like, you're hot, I want to fuck you, put your penis in my butthole, like it's just that again and again and again and again and again, and just throwing like, I want you to do this sexual thing with me, like just then that's the whole message. All it is. It's like, I mean, not like, look, let's be fair, not that I'm really gonna, not that I would like reply to them anyway, because it's like, one, it's what my OnlyFans account's for, 2, I'm not into gay men. Right. I'm not into men. So there's very little interaction that's going to really happen here, in general. Well, even if you were, I think it's really interesting that people think that because we do sex stuff for a living, that we want to have sex with everyone or anyone and do everything or anything. And that's just not correct. And maybe that fucks with the fantasy a little bit. But everyone has their limitations and everyone has their reasons for the things they do. So it's very interesting to me that just because like you and I fucked on camera today, there's probably going to be a bunch of like DMs like, so when are you available? How do I book you? Like, and it's like, I don't, just because I fucked Stirling today. And look, and I know you're not me, motherfucker. Well, and it's not even that.
Like,
You don't have my job either.
I almost said something terrible. I was gonna be like, I fucked so and so. Like, it's not an attraction thing, or it's not like it's nothing specific. It's just if we weren't booked together and it wasn't a thing that a bunch of people are gonna see, and it's this big production that I'm excited about, I'd probably be at home, like just fucking my boyfriend. Like
Hanging out.
I like performing and I like doing that, and hooking up with strangers that I can't Twitter stalk first doesn't equal performing for a company on camera and feeling like an actor for a minute.
Yeah,
like, and also getting to have really good sex at the same time. But like, you know, it's just kind of, even when I did Ashley Madison and stuff, there were hundreds of messages, but I only picked 9 people off Ashley Madison to hook up with. Yeah. And there's got to be something there.
That's what it's like being a chick. It's like,
yeah,
you jump on a dating app and it's like, dick.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and there's got to be something there. And I met a person that like used different photos twice. So they used someone else's photos one time and then younger photos of them another time.
Oh, but when you met them,
like 20 years younger.
When you met them, it wasn't them.
But when I met them, it wasn't them, which is why you always meet people you're meeting online in a public place. Yeah. And then you can go, okay, bye.
Get the fuck out of there.
Okay, you're not that person. So
if they're catfishing, you get the hell out of there.
This is where that ends. Like,
let's there's a few questions in the chat here, so we'll finish off with these. Morpheus asks, what's the best way a guy can get into porn? Unfortunately, it's extremely hard. So I'm actually writing a book on exactly this right now. Another book. I'm busy a little bit. And I'm breaking down like a dozen dudes I know in porn, and I break down, because they've all got different stories, and I'm breaking down how they got into porn.
That's cool.
One of the most common ways that dudes tend to get in, though, is that they have a partner who's a girl is in porn already, and then they bring them in.
And we vet you, kind of.
Yeah, because like reputation is everything for a guy.
Which doesn't mean that people with horrible reputations don't work. It just
no, but getting booked in the first place.
Yeah.
Like you have to and when I say reputation, I mean reputation for the ability
to perform. Yeah.
You have to be able to perform on camera, and because think about it this way, like you could either if a director uses you, right, you can either, as a guy, you can either be a problem solver for him, or you could cost him $5,000, $6,000, because he's going to pay the female talent, he's got to pay the makeup artist, he's got to pay his PA, he's got to pay the shoot location, he's got to pay the male talent, and he's got to pay himself eventually. So an average cost for a scene is about $6,000 for most scenes. So like if you rock up and your dick's limp and you can't do the job, he just lost $6,000, because sometimes they'll get a dude in to replace you, but not right now, because they've got COVID test shit. Prior to COVID, you could probably get a dude in to replace you, but then that's like, you just cost him probably a couple of $grand in shoot location fees, at least. He's got to start all over again to do the stills and stuff that you might have gotten like a couple off.
Yeah.
So there's that. So that's like that's what I mean when we say reputation. Like if you can't do the job, no one will take a risk on you. So if you've got someone who can vet you, it helps. Right? It helps you get your foot in the door.
And even then, a lot of people don't want to shoot you with your girlfriend. I don't like shooting partners personally, unless I'm shooting like real sex. Like, I don't know why I did this. Like real sex, like actual, like just fuck and I'll find the angles. Like that I'll shoot partners for.
Yeah, that's the
but it can be stressful shooting partners.
But I guess to answer the question, like the way you it's about networking. You have to. That's how I did it, at least, and that's how. I mean, if I break it down, the stories that I know, it's about networking your way in, so that you can get a shot. And once you get a shot, you have to fucking nail it, so that someone will hire, so that director will hire you again, and then that's how you sort of you baby step your way.
And nowadays, you can start with things like webcamming. You can start with Pornhub. You can post your own stuff there. OnlyFans. You can. I think Pornhub is the best way because you get the most outreach. Yeah. And then I always tell people to contact an adult talent agency and be like, and apply. Yeah. Because I didn't know you could do that, but you can. So
you can only do that in America, though.
Oh, okay.
You can't do that anywhere. I've worked on 3 different continents and 4
well, and a lot of men don't have agents, but
correct.
But a way to start is to be like, hey, here's my application. Here's the reasons like I would be a good person for this. And then if they want to try you out, they might.
I'll give you a shot.
So,
I'm Chris says, Alex, do you have more white knights from webcam or mainstream porn?
I'd say it's a pretty. I don't get that many. I think because I don't reward white knighting. Because again, white knighting is different to me than legitimate comments and stuff. If you legitimately feel the way that you're commenting, then I'm not talking about you. It's white knighting is disingenuous. It's defending someone who didn't ask to be defended from something that didn't need to be defended from. And you're not doing it because you actually want to defend them. You're doing it because you want attention or because you want a benefit somehow. Like, even if it's just like that you want the attention and you want to thank you, it's like, I just don't really reward any of that. So I do try to make sure that I pay attention when people are being genuine. And if I ever misjudge you, I apologize. But I've gotten relatively good at picking out which people are genuinely commenting and genuinely give a shit, and which people are just like, maybe if I compliment her 6 times today, like, you know, she'll suck my penis.
Chris has an interesting, it's not even not so much a question, but it's a perspective. If I had a porn star girlfriend, I'd probably choose to be her director or manager. Fantasy flex, well, let's just jerk off to it. I mean, I don't really see that many boyfriends managing their girlfriends. It's
more of a cam thing, honestly. And it's not so much a manager. It's more like there's a lot of girls who their partner, their whole job is helping with content. They film their content, they edit their content.
So it's basically a glorified PA. A glorified assistant.
Not a PA, because they're more talented than that. They have a wider range of skills than a PA, because I've PA'd. But like they learn how to use the camera equipment. They learn how to set up the internet stuff and make sure everything's working correctly. There's a lot, especially on the cam side of things, and it's like a suitcase pimp.
Yeah, that's the term.
For porn, it's a suitcase pimp. But for cam, it's a cam boyfriend or an Instagram boyfriend. It's where and it's not necessarily a negative. I feel like if you make it a partnership, that can work. If you make it a toady type thing, that doesn't work. And also if you make it I made you kind of a thing, then that also doesn't work. I've seen all of those, and ew. But that's why I try to do everything myself as much as I can. But I do actually rely on my partner a lot. But it's just more like a partnership at that point. I don't know. I went off at a tangent.
Bullrush says, Stirling could win as an approach and DMs ever worked. You might have to clarify a bit there, Bullrush. I'm not exactly sure what, because this DM was a few minutes ago.
None of the DM techniques we discussed would work. No.
Well, basically, don't. Yeah. The only way, like, look, I can tell you as a male talent in the industry that I slide into girls' DMs all the time to shoot content, but it's because I'm vetted. Like, I'm in the secret society. I'm in that clique of talent.
And there's 2 levels to that, because there's being recognized as being someone safe to work with and someone that other people work with, so they're valid. And then there's how you slide into the DMs. That's true. I've had male talent, female talent come into my DMs the wrong way, where it's like,
what's the wrong way?
I don't like pet names. I don't like babe. I don't like baby. I don't like hun. I don't like sweetie. I don't like any of that. My name is Alex. It's right there.
But you did like being called something else today.
I liked being called a bitch. I like being called a bitch while I'm fucking. But
don't call me sweetheart.
Or a cunt. Don't call me sweetheart. No, don't come in my DMs. Hey, baby, I just thought we should really... Or, here, this is it. Hey, baby, you're so fucking hot. When are we going to shoot content? Is the exact wrong thing to say. Because you called me babe. I don't fucking know you. I'm not your fucking babe. I don't fucking know you. Back off. Like, if you're already trying to be familiar, it feels fake. And then when are we going to shoot content assumes that we're going to shoot content, which may come off as confident, but to a girl, especially one like me, it comes off as like assuming that I'm going to fuck you just 'cause. And it's like, no, I don't know. We never decided that we were going to shoot content.
You know what's the weird thing here is like, because I've seen guys, it's
and then the so hot thing, it's like, if this is a business transaction, then it's not.
Because I've seen guys, that kind of example of a DM you just described, like where he's kind of like, okay, so there's 2 ways dudes slide to DMs in this industry that I know. One is like that, where it's kind of like, it's like it's like you slide into a regular girl's DMs, like you're hitting on it, right?
Even then, don't do that.
But ignore her advice because I've seen plenty of dudes do that with success.
Maybe not with quality.
However,
maybe not quality success.
Stop. Look, just pipe down, you. All right. I'm giving advice here that works.
I'm being quiet.
Secondly, when I do it the opposite of what you described. I do it. I do because it's like I'm DMing other people in my industry.
You're talking about content.
Yeah, I'm talking about content. I do it as like I do it in a really professional way.
Yeah.
How do I phrase it? I can literally bring up an example right here in front of me.
Sure.
They can't see it, but who's the last person I DM'd? Someone who I don't know. Is that a good one? Yeah, like would love to shoot content. Oh, I met her on set though, so we chatted on set. But that's there's another. I can give an even more specific example. There we go. Hey, so and so, we haven't had the chance to work together yet, but if you're interested, I'd love to shoot content together.
Perfect.
Simple as that. And that's the way I do it. And it's like that's how I shoot every bit of content. It's a balance between like
hey.
It's a balance between like being professional, not being like simpy, not being like, oh my god, you're so beautiful, I'd love to shoot content. Not being like that. But being professional, but at the same time, kind of being, not being desperate, being like, look, if you're interested, I'm throwing it out there, and then, like, if not, whatever.
And there's no pressure with that.
That's exactly it. There's no pressure.
You leave it open. You know?
Yeah, and you just gotta like, and it's the same with chicks anyway. You just gotta throw out enough, you gotta cast enough lines. It's a numbers game. You gotta like talk to a lot of girls to get women in your life.
And I usually don't shoot content with people I haven't worked with on set before, or that I don't know personally, because I don't know what you're going to be like when I get you alone. Like, and the same thing goes for anyone. It's like, it's a Louis C.K. joke, and it's one of my favorites, where he's like, women are dating their number one threat. Why would you do that? It's like a man dating a lion. Oh, I sure hope he's not going to do that thing he's definitely going to do. Here, let me get in your car at night with my little shoulders. Hi, where are we going? To your death, statistically. It's like, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So like your courage is asking, and our courage is taking the chance.
Is accepting.
Yeah.
Is accepting.
Yeah.
And like you've also got a million.
Your number one threat is heart disease.
But you've also got a million of these offers in your DMs as well.
True.
Guys don't.
True. But I've also been in the place where I don't have all that. So like I was a virgin until I was 21, There were plenty of guys that I was interested in that weren't interested in me. It's not, I don't know, because there's definitely a biological difference. I think the male sex drive is completely different than the female sex drive in a way.
It's not like
it's a physical need.
Yeah, it's a different kind of drive. Mm-hmm. It's a different kind of drive. Like you can say, like you can make the argument that porn, especially girls in porn, are like really horny and randy all the time. Mm-hmm. You could make that argument for porn chicks, but it's a different kind of horny to dude horny. Like, it's a different thing. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, someone removed a comment from my thing. I didn't see that. All right, that's like an hour and a half. I think we're gonna call it. There's no more questions in the chat. Everyone's just chatting with themselves. As much as I love you guys, it is like 10:30, and I've got to plan some shit for tomorrow. So, would there anything else you would like to tell everyone before we log off? Maybe where they can find you. Your Twitter or your Instagram or.
The best way is allmylinks.com/ALEXXXCOAL. So you can find all my links on allmylinks.com/Alex Cole with 3 X's.
That is very self-explanatory.
Yeah. It's super easy.
And you're still watching, smash that like button. I forgot to mention that like 3 times during this podcast. Like I should have. Smash that like button. If you enjoy the content, if you want to see more Tales from a Hot Girl, then make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, it doesn't show up in your bloody notifications because YouTube is like, whatever. But do that, and thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Let's play some music. There you go.